This is a tutorial for those of you who need to do research or find reliable and true information. So the first thing you need to do is you need to make sure that you're in my Holmes Tomes Media course, 1920. And if you're not in this course, this is the access code. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is that there is a folder in my materials called passwords, and you're going to need this if you are accessing databases from home. We have Scott County online databases. You need your own barcode and PIN number, so make sure to go to the library and ask for that. But if you don't have one at this time, then you can use this one. Gale databases, the password at home is Elm4U, and EBSCO, Prior 1, Lake 1. When you're at school and you log into these databases, you won't need a password for the Gale database and the EBSCO database. For Scott County, you always need a barcode and a PIN number. And it's easier if you have your own. The next folder I'm going to show you is the database folder. You'll have a lot of resources and links for you to look at. I'm going to be focusing on the Gale databases and the Scott County Library databases. One thing about Minnesota Reflections, it says primary sources behind it. A primary source is an actual speech, an actual document, or an actual picture that has happened in the past or the present. So we'll start with the Gale databases, and if accessing from home, the password, remember, is Elm4U. We'll click into that, and there's a few middle school collections. Gale in Context is middle school. You could do things about science. You could look at really any of these, but the ones that say middle school behind them is probably the best for you guys to go to. So we'll go to Gale in Context. You might have used Kids Info Bits in elementary school too. All right, so here is the main Gale in Context middle school page, and you can see that there's a search bar up here, so you can search for any topics. Also, you can browse topics, and you can highlight and get notes, things like that. One really nice thing is that you can sign in with Google. So when you sign into Google, you'll have to be signed into the website, but it goes to your plsas.org account and it saves your documents, your citations for bibliography, and anything that you highlighted to your Google Drive. So let's say that I want to look at something about geography. I was born in Germany, so I want to research that a little bit. It'll tell you a little bit about the country, and then down here on this page, it will tell you what types of sources that you have and how many. So there's 1,056 magazine articles. There's 8 primary sources, whether those be documents, videos, speeches, or pictures. There's audio, videos. So this gives a really nice format for you to find something quickly. Once you get in here, you'll definitely want to dig a little deeper about a subject area that you want to know about Germany. So I'm going to click on reference so I can dig a little deeper. I kind of want to know the things about Germany, like maybe what the capital is, what their flag is, things like that. So I can see a little summary right here. I'm going to click on that. Okay, and it tells me some location and size, some topography, climate. Yeah, these are the things that I want to do some research about. So I can translate it in different language if you speak a different language. I can increase or decrease the font size if it's hard for you to see. You can listen to the article so it's easier. And then there's a few options over here. You can download it, email it to yourself, save it to Google OneDrive if that's an option you have at home. But most of the time, we just want to save it to the same spot so that we know where everything is. So I'm going to click on Google Drive. And it says documents have been sent and will appear there shortly. So we'll take a look at what it looks like in Google Drive. All right, so I've opened my Google Drive and I can find my document that I just saved in a few different places. So the first place is Quick Access, Germany, comes right up. The next place, Recent, Germany's right at the top. And if I go back to my drive, there should be an orange folder that says Gale Context Middle School. That's the resource we're using. So if we open that up, that says that's my article about Germany. Let's say that we actually find some good information in this document that we want to use in our research or our paper, and we want to paraphrase or use a quote from the article. Then we always have to cite our sources on a bibliography page. So one way to do that is we can go to up here to Cite. And it's going to give you a citation format depending on what your teacher wants to use. We have MLA, APA, or Chicago 17th edition. Typically, your teachers will have you select MLA or APA, depending on in what class you're in. So the next thing I need to do is I need to make sure that it exports to the right place because I want it to save to the same place that my articles are saved. So I'm going to select Google Drive, and I'm going to select Export. Once again, it tells me documents have been sent to Google Drive and will appear shortly. So let's click back to my drive. And it just popped up in my folder. Citations, MLA8, Germany. So it tells me what article it was, and it went into my Gale Context in Middle School folder. So it keeps me very organized, which I know that I love and a lot of you love. Another thing your teacher may expect from you is to have multiple sources. So remember, all of these are multiple sources, and sometimes they will say you need a primary source in your work. So I'm going to select primary sources and see if anything sticks out to me that I could use, whether it be a picture or a government document or a speech or something like that. So this is where it tells you, this is what it tells you the date right here, how many words there are, what type of document it is. And so I'm going to go down, kind of look through these here, see if anything sticks out to me. This looks like a letter. Again, it gives me options, so I can translate it, increase the font size, listen to it. And if I want to use this, if there's something in here that sticks out to me that is important, make sure to save it to your drive. And it should go into the same folder. Okay, excerpt of letter. There it is right there. So you can see so far that the databases allow you to do effective research by helping you to stay organized, and that's really important. The other thing I just wanted to touch on was eLibrary Minnesota. That is our ELM databases, and there's 68 databases that you can use. Maybe you're doing a health project. You could use the Health Watch. Remember, there are middle school, like Britannica School Middle, lots of sources for middle school students. So make sure to take a look at those as well. I clicked on Britannica School Middle, and you can see that you are able to search and find pictures. That is really awesome, but not every database has the option to save to Google Drive. So in this case, you need to learn how to be organized, and you'll have to print out your articles and keep them all in one file, or you'll have to find the material in the database that you need, but also you'll have to figure out how to cite it. The nice thing most databases have now, though, is opportunities to sign in and create a free account, and then you'll be able to access your content down here. So you'll just have to go to students, and you'll have to sign in, and then you'll be able to find your favorite articles. So I've signed in and made an account, and it's free. And let's say I want to search volcanoes. Okay, I need a picture that goes along with my article and my research that I'm doing. Like this one, Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. This one is awesome. This is what I'm talking about. This is what will help with my research. So I can mark it as a favorite, which is awesome. Then you can print it if you want to, email it to yourself. You can cite the source and you can copy the link. So it still gives you options to stay organized, but it's just in a different way. It doesn't lead directly to Google Drive like the other one. So let's just say I want to mark it as my favorite. Hopefully it lets me. And then I want to cite it. Okay, it gives me the option to cite it in MLA. And here is the citation that you would copy and paste into a bibliography document. So you just copy it and then go to your Google Doc or your Microsoft Word, whatever you may be using. Another database that I wanted to show you quickly within the Elm library is Explora Teens. This gives you the option to explore many different topics. It's laid out nicely again for you. And let's say you're doing the health project and you want to know more about seasonal allergies because that's something that relates to you. You can click on seasonal allergies and you can go through a lot of different texts and things that are going to be relevant to your topic. Over at the left-hand side is where you will see a publication date. So if you want a more recent article, you can see the source types over here. So if you need an academic journal or a review, things like that, you can just click on it and filter it. So let's just say that I want to use maybe an encyclopedia to see what seasonal allergies are. Okay, I'm going to click on allergies. It's going to tell me a little bit about it, the causes and symptoms, maybe what I can do for it. Okay, this is helpful to me in my research. So over on the right-hand side, I have a ton of options to stay organized. Okay, so I'm going to save it to Google Drive. And if you have a personal account, it might ask you to sign in. So I'm just going to click my plsas.org. It says EBSCO wants to access your Google account. That's fine. I trust it. It says that my Google Drive was successful, but it's trying to redirect me and a pop-up blocker came up. So it says that I need to close this window and try again. So I'm still in my article that I want. I'm going to click Google Drive and we'll see what happens together. Let's go back to Google Drive. Let's go to My Drive. See if there's any other folders that might be in my drive. Okay, I saw a couple, but they're not the right ones. It's always a learning experience for all of us, isn't it? So I went back to my Google Drive and refreshed the page, and under My Drive Quick Access, my allergies document did show up in the quick access, and I think in recent it also shows up right there. But what I noticed is that it didn't create a Explora Teens folder for me, like an orange folder like Gale did. So sometimes these databases are a little bit different, and that's what I'm showing you at this time. I went back to my allergy article, and it says right up here that it has been saved to Google Drive, so that's why I went and checked. And then over on the right-hand side, I just wanted to make sure you know that you can export it, save it to a flash drive if you have one, create a note, share it. But we also have the option to cite our sources again, so that's really nice. Hopefully this database video has given you a little bit of insight to what materials you can use, where you can find these materials on my page. And if you have any questions about it, just come ask me. I'm at Hidden Oaks on day 2, Twin Oaks on day 1, so you know where to find me. You can also send me a Schoology message as well.